Hare Krishna. This is just a quick public service announcement. I just saw a video on Facebook Messenger about hand sanitizer and how it's flammable. And what the lady did was light the hand sanitizer and you couldn't see the fire, right? But then she took a napkin and put it there and the napkin lit on fire. This goes to show that there are flames, there are fires that burn in frequencies that cannot be detected by the naked eye. And this brings further credence to the fact that when you see ancient civilizations like the Dogon from Mali, they used to always point towards Sirius A, I believe, and say that there was a companion star burning right there and you can't see it with the naked eye. And it wasn't until the Europeans invented the modern telescope that we could detect it with the eye. But before that, these people were seeing it with their naked eye, but somehow their eyes were in tune with a star that the regular people can't see. Just like so this shows, right, that our five senses are limited and there are things we can't detect. In jazz music, they say that there's a special note called the blue note that only artists who have a high melanin content in their body, but really what that's saying is not really saying the high melanin content. What it's really saying is that 85% of the people who do have high melanin or melanated bodies have an active pineal gland. So they can detect things that people who have a non-active or calcified pineal gland and adversely in the non-melanated people, 85% of their pineal glands are not active, but you still have 15% of the people whose pineal gland is active or non-calcified. And they'll tend to act different. They'll have different bodily motions. They'll have different natural rhythms. And they'll have different ways of relating to the natural and spiritual phenomenon around them because of this active pineal gland. So again, we can't judge everything from the surface, but everything's based roughly around the number 85%. Okay. We have things that are beyond our senses, like light frequencies. So you can have fire that burns and you can't see it. When she turned off the light in the room, then you could see. So also it's a public service announcement, safety announcement. Please, if you're going to use hand sanitizer, don't use hand sanitizer around flammable objects because, again, you could be on fire and can't see it. However, your skin will feel it. You'll definitely feel it and you'll definitely burn. This also shows that when the Vedas give us information that is beyond the grasp of our senses, we shouldn't reject it just because it sounds weird. Just because they say there was a monkey man and a race of monkey people running around with Lord Ram, just because you can't sense it with your current senses or you haven't found any archaeological evidence. Remember, anything with a tail, the tail doesn't usually what's the word? It's not calcify. It's fossilized. Tails don't usually fossilize. They usually decompose before the remaining skeletal matter fossilizes after 10,000 years. It takes about 10,000 years for bone or organic matter to become fossilized because, slowly everything leaches out and is replaced by inorganic matter, and that's what you call a fossil. It's basically a stone record of something that was once had a skeleton long ago. So just because you don't find evidence with your senses of these things in the Vedas, actually these things are being confirmed all the time by scientists, and I wish scientists would just admit it and stop playing around. They know they're really searching for Krishna. They're searching for God. They're searching for the divine through the world of material phenomenon. But material phenomenon by itself is Krishna's separated external energy, has no life of its own, and is not active. Krishna's energy is there in the form of Kshirodakasai Vishnu, meaning in order for an atomic particle to attract heat, to attract cold, to vibrate, it has to have that life-giving seed in the center, that beej, that same dot that you see women wear on their forehead, that bindi. That seed is also at the center of every true mandala, and that seed is actually Krishna. He's the life-giving seed. From him emanates all things moving and non-moving, material and non-material. And scientists are searching for him, but they're not going to admit it to you. So likewise, the Vedas also says that there's oceans out there on planet that's made of liquid butter. and mango juice and alcohol and all kind of other liquids, whatever liquids you could name. There's probably a star with a chemical composition, or whose planets have a chemical composition that reflects our ordinary products like honey. There are oceans of that. If the Vedas say that, you should accept it, because it's things that have already been established. What we're just trying to do is prove it, but it's going to take a long time. The path of upward knowledge takes a long, long time to confirm. But the path of descending or received, like how you call Kabbalah, kibble, that which is received. That which is received from the upper strata to the lower strata can be more relied upon than things that we see with our five senses. So yes, there are stars out there that do not burn in the visible light frequency. However, they give off a heat signature, other forms of signatures, and they also give off sound. Remember, every star gives off sound. Yes, the universe is a loud, wild cacophony of sound. Believe it or not, it's just that your eardrums are not designed to detect sound out there. If you have solar winds, any kind of wind can be disturbed by a vibrational frequency. Therefore, if there's wind in space, somebody with ears designed for it can hear this phenomenon of the stars singing, which is mentioned also in the biblical scriptures. So everybody, my best advice for you, and I don't like to just give unsolicited advice, but instead of looking at the religious things that have been formed from the scriptures, why don't we just take a step back and look at the scriptures and examine them for some of their historical merit as well as their scientific merit? All it takes is a undiscerning eye. You have to have a mouth like a swan. A swan can take milk and separate the water out of the milk. You can mix milk and water, give it to a swan. It is said that they can separate milk from the water. Likewise, you have to separate the essence from the garbage. That's all you got to do. When you eat a banana, no part of the banana is garbage. Everything can be used for something. However, what's useful for your body is that which is inside the banana. And people, again, I mentioned it on the video yesterday, try to cut back on the meat, because a lot of the meat workers are getting sick and they're calling out. So you can't even attest to the quality of the meat that you will get. They might hire Fred from off the corner. Fred with the Barton's vodka? Yeah, that dude. He's sitting there right now. They'll hire him and throw him right in the plant to replace 4 workers and have him working 4 times as hard without the health practices. And also, I'm going to look back into my OSHA and see if there's anything I could touch up on. I do have my OSHA 30, so maybe that thing will come in handy in the event that's, whatever, the land comes through, or if some aspect of society needs some kind of chemical control or regulations. I'm here for that. I just want everybody to be safe. So Hare Krishna, be careful with the hand sanitizer and investigate that which is unseen, because that which is unseen makes up 90% of your reality. That which is seen is only, the material world is only 1/4 of Krishna's creation. We're talking about creation. So we're not even talking about the original spiritual energy. It's really very, very interesting. Haribol.